let's talk about Google
Yes.
getting into consumer electronics.
Right. They are creating a home entertainment system that initially would be used to stream music, but then also could stream other things
Right,
throughout the house. And this has three effects on Google. One, it gets them into a person's living room and away from the PC, where
Right.
most people associate them with, and away from the smartphone, which a certain group of people associate
Right. And this is
Google
something,
with.
it seems like Microsoft almost stumbled into this with the Xbox, and they realized suddenly that you could have a player like that in the living room that incorporates the entire multimedia world that we live in.
I think Microsoft would dispute this.
I know they
stumbling
would, I know they
into
would,
it.
but
Is it,
so I'm
is it
characterizing
sort
it.
of Google's attempt to introduce like a Trojan horse type of thing into somebody's home? Is that kind of the idea here?
Right.
Yeah, it does. It does set up sort of a platform battle, if you will, of what people will use to organize all their media and organize the way that they consume media. With Microsoft on one hand, with the Xbox, and with what's going to be a new Windows system soon, with Google and what they're trying to do, and of course the
Apple.
the 800-pound gorilla,
Which hasn't
Apple.
announced anything, right?
Which hasn't, but we are expecting an
We're
Apple TV, and is already has a presence with the Apple TV product that they
Right.
sell, and you know, with the tablets and with the PCs, which also obviously offer people a lot of
Yeah,
media.
it's definitely a Trojan horse because they're billing it now as a music player, but that seems extremely limiting. It's obvious that that's just they're starting with music. They'll move on.
But the thing is with Google,
unless it's a total bomb.
And is there really a demand for something like this? I mean,
I think there will be. There may not be today, but I think the way that people consume media in their homes is changing and evolving, and these guys are all trying to get their foot in the door, so to speak, and do that. But for Google, it's not. It's a challenge because they're not in hardware yet.
Right.
Microsoft is in hardware with the Xbox. Apple certainly is
in
there
hardware.
already. So that's a big jump. Google's buying Motorola, and so through that they're going to get into the smartphone hardware. But in terms of products like this is their first time doing
Now
it,
they-
and it has some challenges.
And
of its own.
they did have one foray into handsets, right? Where they developed it. That didn't work so well for them.
No.
But now they've had the success of Android, obviously competing with iPhone.
But again,
How
that's
is that-
software.
Right, it's software, but how does that all get incorporated in? Does the handset become your remote control for this Google Music thing box? Is that sort of the ultimate plan with this?
Right. This would all be controlled by your smartphone or by your tablet.
It's a very smart phone.
Yeah, it is. But again, though, it sets up that platform battle that we could see between those big dogs.
So
Yeah.
do Google investors need to tamp down their expectations in terms of what the company's going to be earning over the next whatever year or two because they're going to be, throwing more money into a venture like this?
That's a good point because already Google is competing against a lot of big names on a lot of fronts. I mean, it's with the Google Plus, it's going up against Facebook.
Right.
With Android, it's going up against Apple and the smartphone business. Now they're trying to get into the living room. So these are big battles that Google is competing with against big companies that also have a lot of money.
That's a good question.
And more money than Google.
That's
really.
how big a battle is this? What kind of money are we talking about? How big is this market?
It's tough to say because we're at the beginning of it, and this is going to be something that gets played out over years. But I think it's fair to say that 5 years from now, and certainly 10 years from now, the way people get their media in their living room is going to look differently than they do now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think probably eventually it'll all just be on the cloud, right? And
Yeah,
have it all
just
wireless and streaming and blah blah blah, and things I can't even think about.
Yeah.
Too far
I
for me
just
to contemplate.
plugged my TV up to my iPad to stream Netflix onto my TV via the iPad, which blew my mind.
So there you go.
Right.
So this is all changing.
And News Corp this week said they got $200 million from their deals with Netflix and Hulu. So it shows that there is interest building in that area.